In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. You've got your good thing, and you've got mine. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am the deleted scenes human being American in YouTube Ronin, and I'd like to welcome you to tonight's special episode of Live from Sparkwood in 21. Tonight we will be watching and taking a deep dive into David Lynch's first feature film from 1979, Eraserhead. Joining me tonight, superfan last call with Troy Pacelli.
Hello, hello.
Netters Network.
Good evening.
And Aged Boomer.
Hello. Did you know that Flappy had named his youngest son Icheb after the Star Trek Voyager character?
Well, that's
Really?
Yeah. He thought, that character gave him hope, and he was putting a lot of his hopes on his youngest son. Know.
Well, I've Mark Melnikoff met the actor recently, and we've pretty much lost all hope in Star Trek. Period.
Well, yeah, I don't think Flappy would have imagined that Icheb was going to be tortured live on screen and get his eyeball removed. Anyway, well, sorry, I got us off track, but I'll have to list off all of Flappy's kids one of these weeks. He had a lot of them.
You're going to need a whole stream just for that.
Well, yeah, the legitimate versus the illegitimate, but we won't talk about those. But anyway.
Right.
I do want to say hello to everyone currently joining us live in the chat. Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her channel, Fluff Chick Productions. Connie Cleary. Channel member, the Tired Midnight Blogger, the voice of Northern Oklahoma, Curtis Selby. Scrolling down. Joe Dubecki in the house. Good to see you, sir. Welcome. Daniel Barry's Sports Highlights, friend of the channel.
Happy Tuesday.
Yes. Geek Flag with an 8 nose coming at us with the super chat. What's up, everybody? Good to see you, Nate. All right. That's everybody in the main chat for right now. I do want to say hello to everyone currently following along on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. All right. DJ Play Nice. Good to see you, sir. All right. So we've been mulling over watching Eraserhead for a while now. And once we decided that we wanted to go back and not just cover Twin Peaks, but David Lynch's earlier work as well. And we hit on the fact that, we have not done, haven't really talked about Eraserhead on the show very often. And this would be a good opportunity for us to, introduce this film to those of you who perhaps haven't seen it and want to see kind of the early days of David Lynch. This was a film that took several years actually to film.
True.
And it is It's an interesting film. It's very abstract.
That's a great way of putting it. Yes, it's abstract.
It does have what I would refer to as David. There are some Lynch-isms in it. You are going to recognize a few of the actors. And I'm going to point out someone who is in this film that I did not expect to see. So when we get to that actor scene, I'll point him out. I don't know if this movie is meant to be post-apocalyptic. It comes off that way in a lot of ways. It's definitely taking place in a world that, as Stephen King said in The Dark Tower, a world that has moved on. And
there's a couple things that, I mean, there's not much that you can get out of David Lynch for the most part, but I've kind of been through just about everything I've been able to find that he has said himself about this movie. And one thing he has said is that I don't think they specifically say it in the film, but as far as he's concerned, it's set in Philadelphia. And he said all the filming locations, which I think actually are in California, looked the most like Philadelphia to him, because it was important to him because Philadelphia was this film. So I'm like, okay, that's important to him. What are we talking about? We're talking about Rust Belt, closed up industry, a lot of people out of work, Huntington, New York. Friends took angry that I made them sit through it. That was, I actually saw some footage, people being interviewed at a film festival in '79, before the film's limited release. And there were very mixed reviews. One was, I have no idea what I just saw. And another one was, it's very deep, very dark. To me, there's no sense of place in any of it. And that did not bother me at all. It added to the disconnected feel. So yeah, I do think that, and that's going to become another running theme. I think there is meant to be something there that everyone can relate to, if not on a literal level, then more on a instinctual level. We oftentimes talk about probably one of the most recurring themes that I would almost call it a medium that David Lynch works in, and that's dreams. It's as if his productions are trying to create the essence of a dream. If that's the case, then I would say that Eraserhead, at least by the end of the movie, is absolutely a nightmare. But it starts out, he says, as a dark comedy. So, as David Lynch said that, there it is, that this movie is not exactly autobiographical, but it reflects the time he lived in. So I was right about that. Between the factories and the rundown towns. Yeah. Makes perfect sense. I think anything else I would say about it is far more abstract, and we'll get into it more as we actually watch it.
Railway Nation Gaming Club's joining us. Good evening, sir. Also, FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim.
Yep.
Bob Johnson. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Slab bulkhead. Your turn. Okay. Is this a Dune watch party? Not tonight. Maybe sometime down
Not
the line.
exactly, but there are some tonal elements and visual cues that are very similar. And I am going to talk about that because that's kind of the point. I feel like to really dig into Twin Peaks, you got to kind of be more general and understand the bigger picture with David Lynch.
Mm-hmm. He says David Lynch said that this movie. Oh, no, we said that already. My bad. Okay,
And
moving on.
No worries, Nate. I just posted I put something out on my community tab. I'm going to be on with Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips exclusively on his Rumble channel on Saturday, starting at 3 Central. I guess that would be 4 Eastern, where we will take another stab at doing a watch through of Tron and Tron Legacy. So I hope you guys can all join us there. I will post the link probably Friday evening because with Rumble you can't set up a stream more than 24 hours in advance. So there you go. But did say the movie is clear in meaning to him because of a Bible verse he read, but he never let anyone know what was the verse. Interesting. I did not know this thing about a Bible verse. I'll have to think about that a little bit. I'll have to think. But it does kind of imply one potential meaning that I hear come up very often. And I've been inclined towards it too. And I thought, it doesn't sound very Lynch. If he's referencing, at least a scripture or at least one passage from the Bible, maybe there's something to it. We'll talk about that when we get into it.
All righty. Well, no time like the present. Everyone, please remember that the Cosme link for the film should be pinned to the top of the chat. And for those of you who may have HBO Max, the film is available there as well, along with Blue Velvet, The Elephant Man, and several other Lynch films. All right. Countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it.
Okay. So like I said, I know there's different versions out there, and because the version I had, I needed to add a few seconds to the beginning in order to get the subtitles to line up. So David Lynch Presents just came up on my screen. And we see Eraserhead. And we are actually seeing the side of Jack Nance's head rising up into the screen. Now, I should point out that this visual motif here reminds me a lot of the way that Garland Briggs was depicted in the Return, in my opinion. The memes are starting already.
Think this is what happens when we sleep?
Here's the thing. I tend to have some pretty darn weird dreams. Usually not too very far off from this movie. So that's why I say I can kind of relate to it. And I think if people are honest, they could too. But I'll be darned if I can give it any meaning.
One thing I have always wondered is if when you're having a dream and you encounter someone that you don't recognize, is that person having the same dream you're having, wondering who you are?
Interesting.
But see, here's the interesting thing. Have you ever noticed that in terms of dream logic, oftentimes you can, like you just said, encounter somebody that you don't recognize, at least not with your conscious waking mind. But in the context of the dream, you know who that person is. It's almost like you are living someone else's life.
If you watch
the
movie Wind Rises, deleted scenes, the Hayao Miyazaki movie, the main character in that meets another person in a dream, but they don't meet in real life. They're both fellow aviator and plane engineers.
Oh.
But does he really meet him, or is he just part of the dream? I don't know. Sorry.
There is increasingly a belief in quantum theory that consciousness might have something to do with, some sort of a quantum level something, which really does kind of tie into a lot of mysticism, like transcendental meditation and whatnot, which of course David Lynch was very into. But this idea that there is consciousness that exists outside of our brain, that's just a part of it. And on some other level, our consciousness continues to dwell, after death. And this is just a temporary manifestation. Sounds really religious,
Now, of course, we recognize this actor, don't we?
That's Jack Nance. Yep. He played Pete Martell in Twin Peaks. And just about every production that David Lynch had, he had some role in it. Now, here's a motif we're going to see repeatedly. And I look at this and this bulbous, excuse it, but I think we're going to have to address it at some point. This sperm-looking,
I
thing.
just thought it looked like an entrail.
Yes, it very much is a trope that we see over and over again with David Lynch's. I mean, if you think about the Guild Steersman from Dune, one could even say, John Merrick in The Elephant Man. And you're going to see a little bit later, hate to give away any spoilers, but you find out that he's got a kid, and the kid is kind of oddly shaped like that. Yeah, I really don't know what to make of this bloke and what he's doing, other than, someone who probably works or worked in some sort of industry in Philadelphia. You're going to see later on, he's got a lot of scars, and there's going to be some sparking motifs. So I just thought like smelting, or I don't know, electrical work or something. Very industrial is what I'm getting at.
He does seem to be controlling things up to a certain point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw Curtis's.
I'm watching that. I'm thinking, damn, that brother's good. And to have it on a loop like that, it looks like he's going around in a circle.
Yeah, I'm going to bring that up a little bit later, Tim. But yes, you are correct.
I think yeah.
What did Tim say?
Oh, he's referencing something that's going to come up later in the film that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Is this a nice part of town?
Okay. Is it too early for me to go into my personal Philadelphia story?
No, go for it.
Go for it.
Okay. As we follow our lead character through town, I guess. I visited Philadelphia as part of a class trip.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not a pleasant trip. We basically spent the better part of 2 days on a bus. By the time we finally got to Philadelphia, after circling Washington, D.C. A dozen times, for whatever reason, I had gotten motion sickness.
Oh.
And let's just say the lobby had to be cleaned. And the hotel staff was not a fan of me. So I was basically very ill through the trip.
Was it the air?
I don't know.
And look, honey, our new TV, the blacks look really black.
I mean, it really does. You're not even joking.
Yeah.
So is
our
it,
old TV, blacks look more dark gray.
Yeah.
Right.
The blacks are actually black.
So,
that was one of the features that was like a selling point.
I do remember Bananas Magazine, Curtis.
So was there more to the story, Stephen?
Yes. Yeah, there is more. Now, the first night there, while the guys I ended up in the hotel room with were running up the bill, running out of money, which I eventually had to pay for. That was the night Nicky Scarfo killed those two guys in the parking garage.
Oh, wow.
Like a couple of blocks down. And of course that started that whole kind of gang war that eventually ended in the death of the aforementioned Mr. Scarfo. So after that little welcome to the city was so we got taken to see the next day to see the Liberty Bell, which, while the historic nature of it is not lost on me, it is basically a cracked bell.
Yeah, I dig it.
And you go to, and you get to see Betsy Ross's house.
Oh,
there
quite small, and
well, yeah,
again, kind of ho hum. But the point being, I felt like I didn't get out of the trip what I was supposed to be getting out of it.
I would imagine.
And anyway, back to the movie. And hello.
So did you catch when he was getting on the elevator? It was there. It opened up for him right away. And then he's just standing inside waiting for it to close.
Yeah. Well, that's how some of these old elevators are, right?
True. But it was intentionally exaggeratedly long, and it was clearly meant to be a joke. Interviewer asked David Lynch about it and goes, "Yep, that was meant to be a gag."
He's going to be invited for dinner. No Hormel chili and beans this night. Huh?
Tim says this Twin Peaks prequel is strange. I was going to say, when he walked into the lobby and you see the archway and the chair and stuff, it definitely made me think of The Return, which was the segments that were in the White Lodge that were all in black and white with the firemen sitting in a chair, very similar to that.
Musical beat here, which is going to come up again.
Yeah, this kind of organ music I think I've only ever heard at like roller rinks when I was a kid.
Oh, dude.
Oh, right. He stepped in a puddle.
You got to throw him on the radiator.
Right.
I remember in New Jersey, I had a radiator in my room. Those things get hot. You got to be careful around them.
The point of my story earlier, folks, was,
Yes.
I'm not intending to denigrate Philadelphia in any way, but just watching this movie, I can understand David Lynch's viewpoint of that particular.
I definitely feel like that's very on par with what he's getting at.
I've never had the desire to go there, but I think I might have went there for a class trip. Is that where the Ben Franklin Museum is?
Probably.
Is that in Philadelphia? Because I did. That was a nice museum as a kid. That was a good school trip. But I think we did go to Philadelphia. But yeah, I don't get it.
Now, I hadn't thought about this before today, but you have a radiator there. You hear it hissing. You can see the steam coming out of the release valve, which you would usually have in the middle of winter. It didn't look that cold outside.
Love that hair.
Yes.
Oh, is that the eraser part?
Stay tuned.
No. Yeah. It's far more literal later on.
What is on top of that dresser thing?
I don't know. An anthill?
It looks
what
like
is
moss.
It looks like the Geely suit for being out in the woods.
Oh yeah, kind of does.
Is that the gorilla suit he has to wear for his second job? I don't
exactly. And Tim posted a meme, a hockey meme. I believe that's from a movie called Slapshot, which starred Michael Onkeen
and Paul Newman, as I recall, right?
Yep.
I don't remember. All I remember is Michael Onkeen's butt because Netter keeps pointing it out.
No, you keep pointing it out.
No, you're always the one who
Honey, I mentioned it once.
Yeah, okay.
And yes, Paul Newman was also in it.
Was
that no butt?
No butt. But those three guys, those are the Hanson brothers. They were awesome.
Why was the picture torn in half? Is that, did they break up or something?
Well, we'll talk about that. Let's kind of get a feel for their relationship here. By the way, that's Charlotte Stewart, who played Betty Briggs in Twin Peaks.
All right. This is just.
I'm wondering if they're going to bring her back for this Tremor sequel they're talking about.
Oh, right. Yeah, I sent Troy an article about that.
Was she in that? Was she in Tremors?
Yeah.
She was the mom of the little girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. She's the one who offers him beer. Stay here, I'll give you lunch and beer. And I can't believe we turned
I
down
only
free
remember
beer.
4 people in that movie, period. And that's Kevin Bacon, Remo Williams, Reba McEntire, and the dad from Family Ties.
You forget the guy that
Stewart
played
was in
Ed
that
Shen
too.
from Big Trouble in Little China. He was in it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll take your word for it.
Now, this is the bad side of town. I think this, in fact,
There is no good side
There's
of
no
town.
good side. Yeah.
No, but he crossed the train tracks. This is wrong side of the tracks, I think. I don't think that's being subtle there. I think that's what we're seeing here.
I think you're supposed to raise the question, which side is the bad side of town?
This place is a dump. There, I said
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Is there a fish in the percolator?
Yeah, right.
Is that a Venus
was-
flytrap growing outside? What is this? I'm just... All right.
This is a secret Bulletstorm prequel, isn't it?
Actually, I don't think it was a Venus flytrap. I think it was actually an Audrey 3.
Okay. Yes.
Oh yeah, it could be. Yeah.
2416. Is that number significant?
Yes, probably. I'm sure someone will find some meaning in it.
Who is this? Is that mom?
I guess.
Yeah.
He's got a pocket protector.
He does.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you like those drapes, Netter?
I
Curtains?
can't really see them too well. Are those clouds or flowers?
Oh, Curtis makes a great point. 2 squared is 4, 4 squared is 16.
Oh.
Dog seems to have had a litter. Yeah, there's clearly some issues in their relationship. They're not sitting close. She's sitting about as far away from him as she can.
Permanently?
The heck?
What is she doing?
This might explain why they broke
Isn't
up.
it-
I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Henry's very clever at printing.
I get the impression that her family is prone to seizures.
Yeah.
That would be the most reasonable explanation for what goes on here.
What? What?
I'm Arthur, King of the Britons.
Oh, no. Okay.
This actually is not all that weird to me. I've known people like this.
No, that's what's fun. Oh, I hope they don't have him play Santa Claus at the yearly Christmas party. I'm just thinking this was. What is that?
Hello, it's the
Hello,
emoji
Lady
queen,
Mist.
Lady Mist. The woman who's playing Mrs. X, who's Mary's mother, is Jeannie Bates, and if she is familiar, you might remember her from Die Hard 2.
I actually don't remember Die Hard
The
2.
heck is?
Yeah,
What is that?
I don't know, but she
other
just
films.
put booze on it, I think.
No.
Oh, no, it was salad dressing. Never mind.
Oh, it's a salad.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those big salads you see when you have company over and you get
Right,
the tongs
right,
and
right,
everyone
right,
takes some. Okay, yes.
And this is, again, this portion of the film is a little bit dark comedy, but there's a kind of sadness here, right? It's like mom mixes the salad, that's her job, but she's not even really able to do it herself.
Well, she's holding
So
it
she goes through
steady.
the extra work of helping mom to toss the salad.
Oh my god! You know, I am.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
I'm sorry.
Thank you and good night.
and then gives her a cigarette.
It's fine. Did she put the salad in the sink too? That's disgusting.
Oh,
Can we
boy.
just move on?
Yeah, let's.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Here comes the main treat. You excited, Netter? Sorry, I keep picking on you, Netter. You're the one who's not seen this movie. I'm sorry.
So, is that's not the chicken, is it?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Is it?
Chicken?
Yeah,
But
I think it is.
Because we were able to see the chicken earlier, and he was basting it very meticulously.
Whoa! It's cuckoo clock.
It's
The
cuckoo,
time
all
is
right.
8. All right.
Well, what's the carve if they all get their individual thing, right?
Yeah, they're and what are they? Because they're smaller than Cornish game hens.
That's what I think
Is that
they are, right?
squab?
Yeah, maybe that's what squab.
That might be squab.
I like Cornish game hens. I think I went to restaurants. I got half a Cornish game hen. It had stuffing in the side.
That's rather disgusting.
And here we go.
I hope that's
like
gravy.
I said, I can only assume this is a seizure, because what else? This otherwise makes zero sense. Welcome, Slasher Fred. The song "In Heaven Everything Is Fine" is such a very haunting melody. Yeah, and I meant to mention, deleted. You actually sounded really good singing it. It's a weird ass song, but you sounded good singing it.
Thank you.
What the?
See, again, she'll be all right in a minute. And it infers to me this is something that happens from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the bleeding, twitching bird. He's like, I'm just gonna put this down now.
Have you ever had a Cornish game hen before?
I have 2 in the freezer right now. I just, in fact, I'm probably going to make it this weekend. I just need Netter to make.
You gonna have any stuffing inside it? You gonna put some stuffing inside?
Jasmine rice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good too. What'd he say?
I missed it.
Well, Henry, what do you know?
Oh. Again, this isn't that weird. This kind of awkwardness, I've had situations like this, sure, plenty of times.
Keeps looking at him.
Because he's awkward and doesn't know what to say. At least he's smiling a lot.
Okay.
If she goes for a taser, run.
Yeah.
Is that a fish on the plaque on the wall?
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not in the percolator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe that's where the fish in the percolator
That's how it got
from.
in the percolator. It was on the wall and it fell off.
This house looks uncomfortable to live in.
And that can't be good.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, JPRPH1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's kind of how these things happen.
Yikes.
Yikes.
And then.
Why do I have a feeling that she's pregnant, but not by him?
I don't think we have any reason to believe that it wouldn't be his. In fact, honestly, in the course of this movie, I'm absolutely certain it's his because at least I believe he believes it's his.
Boy.
And I don't think we have any reason to believe that she's been with anyone else. Okay, so simple surface level of this. You got a couple, they knocked boots. He got her pregnant. She had a baby. The baby is premature at the hospital. Not doing so well. I mean, I think the implication we're not even sure it is a baby is pretty telling.
Are they going to go down to the courthouse now? I guess. Oh, whoa.
Curtis, you're kind of worrying me here. You make me feel like this is your story.
The heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is the baby.
So Charlotte, we've asked her about this. And the only thing I know for certain is that the baby is a practical effect, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
She understands its workings entirely because she had to work closely with it for the whole time they were filming. But she has promised David never to talk about it or say anything about it. So she doesn't.
Well, there is a back and forth without going into too much detail as to exactly what is this made out of.
I am going to say, a child can
Yeah.
tell when the mother, there's no love coming from her. Maybe he'd be more, well, I don't want to assume the sex, but, he or she would be more reticent to the baby food if you would be a little more caring about it, right?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on here. You don't even know how well the kid can process food, solid food. It's obviously very maldeveloped. Does it have a functioning esophagus, I should say? Yeah, you don't want the food going down its trachea.
Did you see that movie Splice?
Is that the one
Some
where
of
they genetically engineer a
person, but except
person with alien DNA or something,
animal DNA in it or something? Yeah, and it's like she has to put what is it, like Smarties or something in the food to get the kid to eat it or something, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time.
It was all right. It had Adrian
Was that
Brody
the one
in it.
where all the design work was done by H.R. Giger, kind of like Alien?
Maybe. Or is that Species you're thinking of?
That was Species.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Yeah. Was Splice the one where the humanoid creature changes gender at the end?
Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
It's oh man. I'm just saying. I'm trying to think of weird babies, and that sprouted to mind.
One of my favorite David Lynch movies, The Elephant Man. That movie raises the question of who is normal and who is the monster. Yeah, that's a theme that Lynch likes to play with. Yeah. So this is why I say that it's got to be his kid, because they're there with him, the baby and she are there in his apartment. I don't think he would have, if he had any doubt that the baby was his, I don't think they'd be there right now. I mean, I guess if you don't have a TV, you stare at the radiator.
Well, if you think about it, people used to stare at the fireplace. And what's the new fireplace? The radiator.
Yeah, but that's boring. Fire at least is pretty to look at.
And
now we get a floor show.
Yes, we do.
In the radiator.
I like the scenery outside the window. I'm sorry. It's a brick wall.
Yep.
Sorry. That just shows whoever was designing these just didn't care.
Yeah, exactly right.
Just don't care.
Well, that also happens when you have a building and then they put up another building directly next to it. So that the building he's in might be older than the
I know,
one that he's
probably,
staring at.
yes.
Okay, do we know why the baby is so deformed?
Past being born premature, no. We're not really told. It's that's the thing. It's kind of more
Honestly,
speculation than anything else. You know,
it gets worse from here. Don't spend too much time worrying about the baby because there's some even weirder stuff coming up. So far, this has actually been a fairly straightforward linear story.
Yeah.
I don't know what the little worm is that he was carrying around that he is now putting into his little memory box here. Yes, E.T. is the father. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're so cute. Who's our little Space and Guild navigator? Yes, yes.
Yes,
How
exactly.
Are you? There you go.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm. This Tremors prequel is weird.
Yes.
Don't touch me. Yeah.
Hey, you got your wifely duties.
Yeah, no,
It's
sure
not even that. You know,
he was just trying to be tender, but at the same time, she's also like, I don't want to be touched anymore because the result was that.
Hey. Whoa.
Give it a binky.
Maybe he needs a pacifier or something.
The weird thing is, it's not exactly crying. It's more like, I don't know, whining.
Maybe it's scared because of the thunder and the wind.
See, my other thought is we don't know if it's in pain, right?
Yeah, that could be it too.
Yeah. And it's not like it's the baby's fault that it's the way it is, you know? I mean, just
probably not.
That's the sad thing about it. It's not like it's anybody's fault. It's just, it is what it is.
Welcome to motherhood.
Yeah. That's true.
heck, man? She is
What are
weird.
you doing, lady?
Auditioning for Bob.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me wonder, what direction did David give her? Pull on the bottom of the bed like you're trying to, she was trying to get the what do you call it out from underneath?
Suitcase.
Suitcase, yeah. I love looking back at Curtis for the past couple minutes. Frighteningly similar to my ex-wife. Yep, more and more like my marriage. What the heck is she doing? Oh.
Meanwhile,
What is by the
That
side
was,
of his bed?
Yeah.
Is that like a tree or
like
something?
his plant?
yeah.
Well, it should be in a pot or something, right?
I don't know.
You would think, but that's not us. Okay. Here's a little bit of trivia. Going back to the 2416 thing, the street that Mary and her parents live on is never mentioned, but the house number is 2416.
Right.
David Lynch and his wife once lived at 2416 Poplar Street in Philadelphia.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So it was their address. Yeah.
I'm gonna take the temperature. Okay, come on. Like those lamps?
Yeah. Well, that's about as normal as you can get.
Andy quieted the baby down. So,
Yeah.
yeah. However,
Whoa.
Yes.
Is that measles?
that happened
What I'm
fast.
thinking. Yeah, that or it got acne
The
really
plague. I mean, that came on really sudden. Weird.
What? Better go check the mail, huh?
Is he expecting something? I guess.
Oh. I wouldn't be touching it. You might catch whatever it has, you know? Am I wrong here?
I would be less concerned about that because if it is something that's catching, he's already been exposed and he probably doesn't have to worry because he's got an immune system. The baby doesn't.
Oh, my goodness.
Doesn't want you to leave.
Besides, it's like, has it ever been changed or fed?
Well, she was trying to give it some kind of like red cabbage or something earlier. I saw her trying to feed it something. Maybe milk, huh? Don't babies need milk or formula or something?
You can't give a cow's milk. It'll upset their stomach and they'll vomit.
Right, so it's got to be like breast milk, right? Or formula.
Or formula. You know, if you're unable to care for the child, you can bring it to a fire department or hospital, and they will take the child.
There you go.
No questions asked.
Is that an option here, though? I mean,
in Philadelphia in 1979, I don't know.
He's not going to do it. That's still his child.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He is taking responsibility, is he not?
In fact, he probably feels more pressure to take responsibility since the mother left.
Yeah. Cold-hearted mom.
I always looked at this movie as basically kind of fear of fatherhood anyway.
Yeah, it's like the normal
kind of
fears of an unmarried young couple kind of cranked up to 11. See, I used it in a sentence. There's the organ music again.
And at last, here she is.
But who is she?
It's the lady in the
Chipmunk
radiator.
Cheeks. The girl in the radiator, exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so what drugs was David Lynch on?
I have no idea. Must have been the good stuff.
It's like a vaudeville act. What is this? Don't touch it.
Oh, she's going to do more than touch it.
Ew.
No, this looks like an arcade game. Can you make her move and not get hit by the whatever's falling?
Right, exactly.
If you look up happy-go-lucky in the dictionary, is this the picture that shows up next to it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
She does look like a chipmunk.
Yep.
Do you think members of the audience were on something while they watched this too? I'm just curious.
It would help. It would definitely help.
Okay, can this be any more
What the heck is
gross?
wrong with people?
Yes. Yes, it can, and it will.
Why can't anyone be normal anymore?
Yeah, I honestly, I got nothing here. I don't know what to make of this. Yeah, that's a dead plant.
Well, the soil's all dried out.
Look who's back. I used to have a dog. If you ever let the dog climb up into the bed, the dog would plop itself down in the middle so you couldn't get situated right. Because that's what dogs do. Ew.
Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
I'm sorry that you can't rub an itchy eye. It's not going to make it go away. All right.
Well, I wear contacts and I do that all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and her eyes make that noise too.
I have
No,
a
they
technique
don't.
myself.
Kinda.
If I have itchy eyes, I keep my eyes wide open until I can't keep them open anymore, and then I try it again. Eventually, the tear ducts will start popping on, and I think it'll water the stuff out of your eyes that's irritating them.
You know, most people would just go ahead and use some eye drops.
Yeah, well, you could do that too, but I'm just saying you don't always have that available. Ew! Someone say
Dude.
something.
Seriously, you have to
Ew.
stop.
Ew. Just ew. Lots and lots of ew. Oh God. Why?
Yeah, this is where I stopped watching.
Uh-oh. Door's opening.
I expect to see a little Indian guy in there.
I
I know. Is it crawling up the wall?
I don't know where it's going. That's trouble. Everything looks the same. It's all grody in this film. It's like
Yes,
I don't know where it is. Is it in the plant maybe?
Oh yeah, could be. It could be crawling through the dirt.
Like the
Sure,
dirt.
sure.
Yeah, okay. What the? Oh boy. Don't look. Oh, here we go.
It's a sandworm. Just a very, 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 very tiny one.
Okay.
And now he's in the dirt. Miniaturized. I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. But Steven has all the answers. Out with them.
Well, last we saw he was lying in bed, so it seems like this is probably a weird dream. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of this where you do have to wonder how much of it is in his head. And how much, and with every other David Lynch film, there is that dream imagery And there's plenty of that in this film as well. And we're going to get more of that before the film's over. Let me see. This is...
Looks pretty dark to me.
Of course, it's the woman from across the hall, who's
Department
obviously,
Huh?
Sorry.
I was going to say, I think it's department store Sandra Bernhard.
I think she's better looking than Sandra.
Yeah.
That's why I said department store, not dime store.
Yeah. This is the woman who's obviously into him, but
I get the impression she's really into everybody.
Well, yeah, but I mean, don't knock it sometimes, you know? She's kind of the last temptation of Henry here.
I guess.
Part. Yeah. Again, my interpretation.
I mean, I think the most obvious interpretation is we are watching a young man dealing with expressions of his sexuality or repression thereof.
Yeah.
The consequences of a relationship, resulting in a child.
Good question.
Wasn't she there?
Nope. I don't think it was real.
Oh. She's not very reliable. It takes two to tango, right?
Yeah, it seems very unlikely that she left, came back, went to sleep for a little bit, and then left again.
How do you know?
I think that was all part of the dream.
Maybe. In this movie, I can't tell.
I know. That's part of it.
Yes, no. Next question.
Okay, so I'm supposed to believe that there was a hot tub in the apartment that we didn't see earlier.
I'm saying it's a waterbed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is why I think this is absolutely part of the dream. He laid down, went to sleep, and then all of this is a dream. Well, all right then. I think he was dreaming since the movie started. Possibly. Okay.
I think she's just seen the kid.
Or an asteroid.
Here we go. Karaoke time.
I would hope so. Am I wrong there? I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
I mean,
You got your good things. I've got mine.
I guess this is supposed to be a hopeful thought.
Well, if everything isn't fine in heaven, we're in some serious trouble.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think the idea being, if this is what your life is like, there's got to be something better.
I guess. She's not really selling me on it, though. It's like... I mean, I'd like to think it's better than fine, but I'm just saying.
I guess by comparison to Philadelphia, fine is like paradise. Right?
Yeah, well, they got any good food in Philadelphia?
They got those cheesesteaks I hear about.
Yeah, that's
and
the
that
big thing.
cream cheese.
Yeah, you got that.
I don't think you're supposed to get up on the stage. That's,
Yeah.
You get thrown out when you do that.
Be funny if the giant showed up as like the bouncer and threw him off the stage.
Yeah, right.
Okay, what is in their hands? What is that? What's in there?
I get distinct German impressionism vibes from this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
The Cabinet of Dr. Kilgari. Yeah, exactly. Is that one of those objects to art from Beetlejuice?
Oh, maybe.
I know.
It's what it looks like. We definitely, yeah,
What?
we are definitely.
And there we go. Yeah.
What?
He just erased his head?
He flipped his lid. Yeah, well, not yet, but he's gonna.
Ew, what?
Now the
Ew.
plant is bleeding.
Oh no. The heck? What? Dude, it's coming out of his neck.
Yep.
Is there more than one of them?
Nope, just the one in
Oh,
a
it's
daddy
echoing.
suit. Huh?
It's echoing.
I would imagine so, yeah.
What?
Meanwhile,
Yeah, exactly.
Mother and I are looking for the other half of my head.
Mm-hmm. That's something you don't see every day. Okay, don't touch it. What is wrong with people?
He's an entrepreneurial type kid.
And you might recognize this actor here. The actor here who plays the character of Paul is Darwin Johnston in Assault on Precinct 13. Fans might recognize him.
Oh,
Napoleon
yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's going to be none too thrilled about the fact that this kid just walked in with a severed freaking head.
Okay, that's more annoying than the baby crying.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul. Sir, we have a problem.
I got a head. Nate speculates that the guy with the scars is either the real father or it's the baby all grown up. That's interesting.
Wow. Oh. Ew.
I mean, yeah.
This movie is grody. Let's be honest here.
Well, the movie is called Eraserhead. It was meant to be a literal title.
How'd you like to be Paul?
In some ways, I think I am.
Those are straws.
Pencils.
They're pencils.
Oh, pencils. Okay, my mistake.
Yeah.
They're pencils and they're having erasers put on them. Erasers being made out of heads.
Because
why am I thinking of the movie Dead Man right now?
Because it does
for pencils.
Yes.
relate.
You're saying what?
It does relate.
Okay, Dead Man does relate, and I mean, if thematically they feel similar. Yeah, I don't know.
Thematically, they are pretty much They would be good on a double bill, I think.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Could probably do them as a double bill. Johnny Depp was in Dead Man, as I recall, right?
Yes, he was.
All right.
It's okay. It's okay.
Does he have 2 ties on?
Yeah.
No. You don't need more than 1 tie. There goes the pencil shavings.
Yep.
Remember you were a kid, you'd have your little pencil sharpener in class and you'd have the leftover pencil shavings.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
Kids these days don't know what we're talking about.
And see, there he is back in his bed with his head attached. It had to have been a dream, right?
Well, that part of it anyway, for sure.
And then when he pulls off the covers, his body's a pencil.
Well, right?
Dude, just pack your bags and spend the rest of the week in Reno, huh? Come on. Am I wrong here? This is not the best vacation, is it?
No. Although I didn't get the impression he had any grand plans for his vacation to begin with.
What the heck?
I can only tell you that the actress that we just saw was Peggy Reevy, who is David Lynch's wife at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Catherine Coulson, of course, the log lady, had 2 parts in this movie originally, but both got cut out.
Interesting.
Yeah, this movie actually was originally 20 minutes longer.
Oh. It would have been almost a 2-hour film then.
Yeah. And there were some scenes that hit the cutting room floor.
That tells you something, people. That there was stuff that was filmed for this that David Lynch decided didn't need to be in it, so he cut it out. He had a plan. We have no idea what the plan was or is.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Play some tunes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Is he laughing at him?
I don't know.
And you notice he doesn't have the Z's look on him anymore, so that had to have been part of the dream too. This makes a little bit more sense if you assume all that stuff between then and now is a dream.
Okay.
I think it's just up to interpretation, because there are parts of it that I think are very much a dream, and there are parts that I think are metaphor, and then there are parts that I think are literally happening. It's just shot in a way that, as Lynch does, where it's kind of up to you to interpret. Either way, he is kind of trapped in hell with this mutant baby. And it's
yeah, exactly.
That's the one constant, and he is very slowly losing his mind.
I was going to say completely unraveling. Yes.
Yeah. Which to me leads to how I feel it to be this kind of apocalyptic. It is this hellscape, or rather it's post-apocalyptic or not. I mean, because there's there is nowhere for him seemingly to turn. Now, one of the
Right.
deleted scenes was that Catherine Coulson is in, is she was supposed to play a character who kind of temporarily becomes a nanny for the baby.
Oh,
Hmm.
But that whole plot line is excised for whatever reason. Whether she got scared off by the baby as the mother did and as the woman across the hall does, possibly, I don't know, but you know.
okay, Wade. I'll make that correction.
Oops, busted.
Okay.
Little blue velvet here.
What's that he's got there? What's he doing?
Pair of scissors.
Okay. Oh, what the heck?
He's opening up the bandages.
Kind of wonder why he's all wrapped up like that. Whoa. What am I seeing here? uh, the heck? Do that. All right. Did anyone bother to talk to a doctor at the hospital?
I mean, yeah. And if they did, were any instructions given or anything like that?
The heck?
Yeah.
What's going on the inside?
I mean, that looks like literally an open chest. Like there's no there's no ribs and there's no skin.
What's he doing there? Oh!
Oh, that's appetizing.
Ew.
Well, that didn't work, Hank. What's your next plan?
Ooh. Ew.
Garmin Boja, I believe.
Oh.
Asbestos boy.
Yeah, just like the chicken. I did draw that corollary.
Buck.
Yeah, seriously, I think that's like cream of wheat. I can't imagine what else it would be. Feed me, Henry.
What the? Wait, what was that? Whoa.
The birth of a guild steersman.
What's going on here?
I think he's freaking out.
Would you be freaking out?
Oh, a long time ago. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have even gotten this far.
Electricity.
Yes, exactly.
Ned,
Yeah,
you've been
Curtis,
rather. Go ahead.
Curtis dropped a meme of the evolution of the arm. You're
Interesting.
Yeah.
seeing the connections between these different kinds of imagery. Yeah.
And a poster shot.
What were you
I was
saying, Boomer?
well, Netter's been rather quiet. I just know if she had any thoughts. That's all.
I can only imagine.
I think she left.
No, she's here.
Okay. It's okay. She's just taking it all in. I'm just trying.
I mean, on a certain level, it is pretty cerebral.
It's
Okay,
the guy
this
from
was
the beginning.
This was the scene I was talking about where he's grinding something and it's making all these sparks, which implies to me this is where all these scars came from in the first place.
Look at this.
Hello, lady.
Those are some cheeks, huh?
Yeah. I think if she's not a trumpet player, she missed her calling.
Yeah.
There you go. In
Oh.
heaven, everything is fine.
Yep.
Now, there's one thing. There must be a scene that I missed. It must have been a blink and you miss it moment. There are two characters listed. Let's see. Lady. Yeah, I didn't see them in the closing credits, but IMDb lists 2 individuals that. Oh, here. Yeah. Well, the boy, whom I don't remember seeing. Oh, little girl, Jennifer Lynch. Little boy, Brad Keeler. I don't remember seeing a little boy and a little girl.
The little boy was with when the guy was testing the pencils.
Okay, that makes
No,
sense.
that's
but what
the
about
other
the little
one.
girl?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there were scenes in this film that were, like I said, that were excised.
That's just weird.
So I assume they were in the scenes.
Yeah, see, there were 2 boys. There was the boy, and then there was little boy. And it was the boy who brought the head. And that was played by Thomas Colson. But Brad Keeler and Jennifer Lynch, I don't remember seeing at all. Mr. and Mrs. D.W. Lynch. Peggy Lynch, of course, that was Peggy Reevy.
Mm-hmm. And Sissy Spacek, because she's married to Jack Fisk.
There you go. Wow, that was a movie that David Lynch made.
Yeah. I think I'm scarred for life.
Yeah. you share some of the same scars I do. Yes. That's yeah. I saw that the first time the year I met you, actually, just before we met.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a movie.
Yeah. That was okay. So Deleted, what do we make of this?
All right. Well, my very brief, very surface level interpretation. This is a movie that is about fear of childhood, fear of commitment, kind of fear of adulthood in general, I think.
Yeah.
You have this poor guy gets left alone with this sickly, deformed child. He very slowly loses his mind, tries to, maybe even succeeds in doing into child, and in the process also himself and somehow this particular world that he lives in. Make of that what you will, but that's my takeaway.
I agree with you 100%. Although I think there's an alternate possible ending there, and that's that. Yes, either he, because I did make the comment in Heaven Everything's Fine, right? What does he see? The bright light, the girl in the radiator, and bright light fades out, right? So heaven, right? So he's himself, right?
Yeah.
Or the other possibility is he's really completely snapped, and that's like the end of his reality. Now he's just a drooling mess somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think either one is really a happy ending.
No. That's why my thought is always okay. He went out quick. Whatever happened, I like to think that.
Yeah, that's actually probably the better ending.
It was quick.
That's true.
It's like with Laura. Yeah, she's trapped in the lodge, more or less. I don't know wow. All right. Well, okay. My interpretation of that before season 3 in Cooper and his fucking savior complex goes and timey-wimey's everything. She is dead, but she is no longer and she's trapped in a lodge, but she is no longer in that life. She is not in pain anymore. And at the end, Henry's not in pain anymore either, and neither is the child. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. Guys, this is a pitch black dark film. Whether you look at it as a comedy or, and there is stuff in it that is funny, I think, but the overlying message is kind of bleak. That's why I look at this as a post-apocalyptic film, because to me it does feel like,
actually, if it was post-apocalyptic, like it might even be an explanation for why the kids all
the baby is the way it is.
Although that could just be Philadelphia industrial waste, that kind of thing. That still could be in play. I'm going to tell you exactly how weird. Look, I really do think David Lynch was a genius. Okay, I don't think I've made any implication to the contrary, but the guy was nuts. I mean, and not in a bad way, but he was flipping nuts. There was this, like I said, and you can look on YouTube. It's out there somewhere. He did an interview right around the time this was releasing, and he was walking through some of these filming locations with the guy interviewing him. And he says, "You see this here?" And the guy looks down at this puddle, and next to the puddle is a dead cat. He goes, "Oh, It looks like a dead cat." He goes, "Yes, it's a dead cat." And he goes, "Is this dead cat in your movie?" And he says, "Well, sort of. This scene right here is this puddle is in the scene, but the cat is just off camera. And then when Henry walks past here, he walks right past this dead cat, but it's just off screen. You don't see it." And the guy's like, "So was the dead cat here when you were filming and you just filmed around him?" "No, I brought it from somewhere else." So David Lynch actually brought a dead cat, put it in the scene, but filmed around it so as not to actually show it. So why did he even bother having it there?
All right, here is the thing, because I can tell you right now because I'm looking at it. On the DVD, the menu screen is the dead cat scene.
Oh, okay.
And
so we got footage of it.
It is there, and you can't tell if it's supposed to be like for real, or because it's just as grody as everything else in the movie. But yeah, that was one of the scenes that was ultimately cut from the film. Was where
in other words, in 1979, he filmed the scene specifically for the DVD, a technology that didn't exist in 1979.
Well, that's just where it ended up. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my gosh, what a wow. Yeah. I would say, Agent Cooper, if you're going to go back in time and save anyone, go back in time to when David Lynch was filming this and tell him to quit smoking. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you do. And this isn't something that he wasn't aware of, right? It was very clear that part of the underlying story is the industrial, environmental, hellscape that is, Philadelphia, right? And it's not the only place. You go all across the Rust Belt, you find places like this. Hopefully all of that industrial area will be coming back now that people realize there is a cost to doing business overseas. Maybe bring your manufacturing back to the United States. I'm just saying. That's a side note. But but yeah, this, he had something to say about, you know, about post-industrial, you know, ruins, people left behind when businesses leave, you know, the standard, you know, age-old problem of kids hooking up and ending up with consequences they hadn't anticipated.
It's just a shame, though.
Yeah,
It's the children that suffer.
yeah, no, that's absolutely true. But you know, then again, there was a time when people were taught, you know, hey, you know what? Maybe keep your schmeckle in your pants until you're married, and then you're ready to actually, you know,
and then you're ready to have the weird monster child.
Or maybe you don't end up having the monster child. Maybe you have a good, healthy baby because you had a good, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't think anyone in this movie had a good, healthy relationship with anybody.
Look, if I've learned anything from horror movies, it's that if you have premarital sex, there are bad consequences.
Yeah, like that stoner guy in Friday the 13th Part 7. He got killed.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically all of them did, right?
Well,
except the one that didn't have sex. Well, the two that didn't have sex. Because we didn't see her boyfriend having sex, right? Anyway, that's a side note. But and as far as the Laura thing is concerned, my take on it was that she's very much like the blonde character in Prince of Darkness, right? Sacrifices herself to keep the evil entity from coming into our world, right? However, based on imagery that you see in Fire Walk with Me, it is implied that the intended goal, the intended expectation is that she dies and then literally goes to heaven. I mean, we're talking angels and the whole bit, right? The whole picture on the wall thing and the angel imagery and all of that stuff, right? All of that gets turned on its head out of order, not in a linear fashion, but because there is the potential for the fact that eventually the guy investigating her death goes back in time to try and save her. That's why you see her getting sucked out of the red room. She would have gone to heaven, right? We saw that in Fire Walk with Me. She's in the red room. Dale comes in. She goes over and whispers, "My father killed me." She looks up. She sees the angel. She smiles. She goes to heaven. 30 years later, however, when he has changed or is about to change things, that clear shot to heaven gets usurped, and she screams and gets sucked out because his going back in time to save her in the woods gives the evil entity, whether it's Judy or whatever, an opportunity to grab her, bring her back into the world. Not the same world, not our world, but a world that it fashioned to keep her out of, you know, the mainstream Twin Peaks world. That's my interpretation of that situation. So yeah, we still come back to a failed rescue attempt made things worse.
Yeah.
There's something else that David Lynch says in that interview. Maybe it wasn't that one. Was it that one? Maybe it was a different interview. He's talking about mysteries. And he said mysteries are not meant to be solved. They're meant to be the light coming from around the corner. And when you get down the hall and around the corner, there's another corner that you have to go around. And it's never ending. You never get there. You know, that is what my interpretation of the situation with Twin Peaks is. So all the people that say, well, we don't get an ending. Yeah, you don't get an ending. You get another season. You get another season. Don't expect there to be an ending at the end of that. If David Lynch hadn't died and we got a fourth season, we'd have gotten a progression in the story, but still never gotten to the end. That was how mysteries worked with David Lynch. Geek Flag is referencing Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Once More with Feeling. They pulled me out of heaven, yeah. I was reminded of Dieter's Dream from SNL when it was still funny. I don't know what that reference is, the Dieter's Dream. Although I just recently saw a sketch someone shared from a recent SNL episode that I actually found very funny, that almost implies that maybe they've turned a corner and are going to start getting funny again. It was 3 couples, and one of them is a gay couple, and they have a baby. And the 2 hetero couples are asking, where did you get that baby? Well, it's our baby. Yes, but how did the baby come about? You're not allowed to ask us that. and you kind of see where the shtick goes. Everything they say is offensive to them and blah, 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 blah. But it's very clear that they're also getting at, you didn't have a baby yesterday. And you never told us you were planning to get a baby. And yesterday you said you were going to so-and-so's such and such party and you got completely wasted. How do you have a baby today? You know, and again, they get all offended and they're like, did you steal that baby? Well, I guess you could say she stole us. And the other 2 couples look at each other and they go, so is that a yes? You know? Yeah, it's but what we meant, and so one of them says, so what we meant was, who is the mother? And the one goes, well, I think I'm more sensitive. And the other one's like, yeah, but I have bigger mood swings. So maybe we're both the mother. No, that's not what we mean. Who is the mother?
You're not allowed to ask
that's
that.
actually kind of a funny thing, and it's the kind of thing that you wouldn't think that modern SNL would even. Oh, okay. Curtis Selby dropped a link to Dieter's Dream. We could take a look at that separately on your own, because we can't bring that up on YouTube, which is why he dropped the link, I suppose. But yeah, it's I notice we're talking around the topic at hand. We're talking around Eraserhead. But I think what's the important takeaways, at least in my opinion, whether or not we understand it, we definitely saw some recurring tropes. We see the electricity, the black and white motifs, the, weirdo, oversized head, underdeveloped body, thing, which again, like I said, we see it in the Guild Steersman. We get a little bit of implication of it from the Elephant Man. We see it in the Judy thing that spits out all of the bits and bobs, literally. One of them being Bob, but it looks like the stuff that was coming out of the bed and thrown against the wall and falling from the ceiling onto the stage, that, kind of stuff. So, I mean, it doesn't it's all connected somehow. We don't know what it means or how it's connected, but it's all related somehow. Or that's just my opinion.
Your what?
Opinion. Yes.
I don't know. All I know is I don't want to have a roast chicken right away.
I know, right? It's like,
but was that even a chicken, though? I keep calling it a chicken, but is that even fair?
I still think it was squab or something like that. It does seem to be implied that because they're pretty broke, they can't afford Cornish game hens. They might not even be able to afford a whole
this was a big deal dinner. They're meeting their future son-in-law.
So they went out and they caught like 4 or 5 pigeons and butchered them. I don't know. It's weird. There is just no getting around that, right?
It's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But look, you can't shy away from it. It is what it is. It's David Lynch. We have to embrace it and do the best that we can. I don't think any of it is meant to be interpreted very literally. No. I think it is, to borrow a phrase, I do think it is meant to be a mood piece.
Yeah, it's a mood piece. It's an art film.
Yeah.
It's moving. It's a moving painting. It's a moving sculpture. It's what it is in the end, But you are seeing things that will become part of his films in the future. You do have the whole industrial tone to it. You do have the dream logic. The whole thing where you are having to take your own interpretation. Do I claim to understand everything in this? No. Do I have my own interpretation of it? Yes. Can I recommend this movie to everybody? No. Because it's not going to be for everybody, and I get that. But the point, the thing about it for me is that you are seeing an artist at the beginning of his career, essentially. And you're seeing the roots of where he came from and how he was seeing probably his own life at the time. Living in this city that, as I brought up, having visited it not too long after, is not really a place that you want to be. At least there are certain parts of it that you don't want to be, where you see a lot of things that are artificial. And you see, and once you strip away that artificiality, you do see the grime underneath. So I understand the movie on that basis. In raising a child who is ill in the middle of all of that. Yeah, I can see you losing your mind a little.
I think that,
I get it. Yeah.
Nate here is saying very, very similarly to what you are.
Mm-hmm.
His Stone Cold review is that it's effing weird movie that doesn't make sense. It was designed for the viewer to interpret it however they want, and that's the bottom line. I agree, but even going farther in agreeing with Deleted on this, yes, you are supposed to project your own meaning on it, but it is supposed to make you feel a certain way. And if I was to describe how this movie makes me feel, I'm a little disgusted, right? I feel a little nervous, apprehensive, even a little scared, right? Definitely creeps you out in the way that I would even say like some elements of Skinamarink, you know, just
which is a film we have to do eventually, and a movie that Lynch saw and was a fan of.
Yeah. It really clicked with him. These images that are in and of them. I mean, okay, let's take for example. Just think about the flat that Henry was living in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1-bedroom apartment with an attached loo, right? Not anything fancy. Not a great view. Radiated heat. All pretty normal stuff, right? But then there's the way he behaves. There's his hallucination of the girl in the... I almost said girl in the fireplace. The girl in the radiator. Yeah, Doctor Who, right? The baby situation, right? The ghillie suit or the giant thing of moss on top of the dresser. The dead plant with no pot. Something is off. Don't know what it is. You know, just a bunch of things are off. And it's unsettling. You know, even the whole thing with the gal across the way, right? She's kind of attractive, but she's a little weird. Maybe she's, you know, practicing the oldest profession because she's bringing this guy in who, notice he had facial scarring too, right?
Was he kind of sleazy? I got the impression.
Assuming he was paying for being there, I think that would definitely qualify. And welcome, Storyman Jack. We're just talking about a story tonight. The story of Eraserhead. We're trying to make some sense out of it. We're trying to wrap our rubber heads around it. Yeah, Nate says he's confused. I don't be too... I think there comes a point with this. How did I say it? I said it was like German Impressionism. Don't take it literally, right? I mean, you watch, for example, Universal Monsters, Frankenstein, right? And then you have all these Dutch angles, and you've got these weird archways that, if you're an engineer, you're freaking out because no one would make a building like that. Don't think too much about it. It's trying to set a mood, not show you a literal, representation of architecture. Well, I think that's the same thing you have to get out of this. It's trying to set a mood, a feeling, and whatever narrative you can glean from it, you can build it up in your own mind, Storyman Jack says, I am up finishing editing my little novella. Just wanted to let you know I'm lurking. Thank you so much. When you're ready to launch, make sure you reach out to Netter. Maybe she could have you on Thursday Things to talk about.
Yep, absolutely. We're already kind of chatting on X.
Oh, good. Okay. Then I'll stay out of it. But
you stay out of it.
I'll stay out of it. Yes, I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean that's my takeaway. And yes, I think that unlike, I'm trying to remember what movie it was. There was a movie that was very disturbing that David Lynch did, and he said that it was his opinion that it was a happy ending, even though it just didn't seem that way.
Blue Velvet?
Was it Blue Velvet? Maybe. But this one, I don't think he intended you to walk away from it saying this is a happy ending. This is this is the best ending you're going to get from a horror movie. Yeah. I think is what the basic thought is. So.
In the end, he is in heaven, or his interpretation of it, much in the same way, like I said, that Laura is at the end of Fire Walk with Me. I mean, I think they're in more or less the same plane of existence at that point.
There you go.
But that's, again,
a tragic happy ending. Jack says,
the tragic happy ending. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a great way to interpret it. Yeah, exactly. But
he's out of this misery and detritus that he finds himself in. And, you know, and the more that I look into this and the more that I think about it, and looking back at the way, again, that Lynch saw Philadelphia when he lived there, you know, in real life, seeing what he was seeing in, you know, dealing with his daughter being ill at the time. And, you know, yeah, I mean, I can see, I think this movie was his way, or at least writing this movie anyway, was his way of maybe working through that. So he does not do what Henry does at the end.
Right.
Exactly.
You
know, I will figuratively kill the crying child, you know. And maybe destroy the planet.
I also get the impression that David had more of a support network.
He's working some stuff out in this, clearly. But and in the end, yeah, probably having that support system, having the people in his life that he had, because the wife didn't walk out on him, not at that point anyway.
Right.
He has Jack Fisk and Sissy Spacek, and he has John Wentworth. Henry does not have that.
He sure doesn't. He doesn't seem to have anyone, does he?
He doesn't have anybody. You know. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the parallels. Because I mean, we all, to go off on a tangent.
I think,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we're also, there's one other aspect that we're kind of dodging around that we should probably try to make some sense out of. What is the whole Eraserhead element? I mean, it's important enough that it's the title. We get this weird segment where he loses his head. It's taken to a factory where the head is turned into erasers for pencils. I can the closest I can come to some sort of a reasonable explanation is that, well, he lost his head, right? He clearly is losing his head. He's going insane.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to erase the mistakes of his life. That would be the baby, which he apparently does. Would have made more sense if he had used a pencil instead of scissors.
Like erasing a mistake or something.
Yeah. I don't know. That's about as close as I can get us.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean,
well, then I must be wrong. There were no bunnies in this movie.
Did you like the story about the father-in-law's arm that wasn't working? Then he had to rub it to get it working again.
You know, I've actually heard people that had situations like that. So, I mean, yeah, I know people that do that. They talk about an injury or, some physical ailment they've overcome.
Like the doc said, that you never be able to use the arm again.
But here's something else. Another element there, right? He's talking about how he lost feeling in it. At first he couldn't use it, and then he lost feeling in it, but now he can move it.
Yeah.
That is what I would call a runaway metaphor. Yeah, all of his metaphors are kind of runaway. His narratives are runaway. But we also get the people with the shaking arm in season 2 of Twin Peaks and losing feeling in their arms. Again, a recurring motif.
All right.
Father-in-law is the happiest, most well-adjusted, and kindest character in the whole film. You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe a little socially awkward, has a hard time with starting up a conversation, but pretty friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, this was this could have been a pilot for a series, I think, but I don't know. It's a joke. Just
No, I know you were joking, but I could totally see David Lynch doing that.
like a situational comedy.
Or a series of short films based on it, you know.
Did you feel bad for the Did you feel bad for the baby?
I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Justice for Flappy.
Well,
do you think this was Flappy's first role too? Maybe he was the bleeding chicken.
No, he was not in this movie.
Was he honestly the cuckoo bird? Maybe.
During this time, I think he was having early work. He was on Chips, I think. California Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
You see the skunk bird on that. This is before he made it big. Don't be poiling in with this because for starters, the only birds in this were those things they ate at dinner.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
What was that? Why was it bleeding?
It wasn't well cooked, I guess.
Did he not take the guts out? You're supposed to remove the guts, the organs.
Right.
They used to put them in there, but you're supposed to remove the bag.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
It's fine.
So I guess then the question is, where do we go from here? So next week.
I think of Buffy when you do that.
Where do we go from here? We could. I mean, the logical next step would be like Industrial Symphony number 1 or whatever it's called. Thematically, it seems to follow, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
However, there's one problem with that. I almost feel like you can't do Industrial Symphony number 1 before you've done Wild at Heart.
Oh.
Are they as weird as this? Because I don't want to watch anything like this.
You've seen Wild at Heart.
No, I don't think Wild at Heart is not as weird as this, as I recall.
Oh no.
Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern.
Yes.
And a lot of Wizard of Oz imagery.
That might be good because of how popular a certain other Oz type movie is right now.
Oh yeah, exactly. But Industrial Symphony number 1, you could say it's weird, but it's really just a concert movie. It's mostly just music with just a couple of little interludes. You get Nicolas Cage, you get Laura Dern, you get Julie Cruz, Mikey Anderson reprising his role as Little Man from Another Place. Was the Giant in it? I can't remember.
No.
Okay.
You do get the deer creature, but it's obviously someone on stilts.
So, yeah, some kind of a Wendigo type of
analog
or something. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's that. Let me think. Oh, and I'm still keeping this on the docket because Agent Boomer brought it up just the other day. Still want to consider maybe talking about, maybe this is too big a departure, though. We still have a lot of Lynch stuff to go over. But we do need to think about the things that are closely tangentially related. So things that were inspired by Twin Peaks that have some connective tissue, like, for example, X-Files. For example, Lost. I'm not saying that we watch all of Lost or X-Files. I'm saying that we just,
What?
Just
Talk
kind of
about
talk
it?
about them. Yeah, exactly.
If you want to do X-Files, what I would do is, and I don't.
Don't you dare start with the first episode and play them all the way through.
No, I was going to say I would just discuss the first 3 episodes because I just would explain the impact of those first 3.
Sure,
That's all I would talk about. I wouldn't talk about the whole series. For starters, there's a lot of weeds in that series that I don't really want to get bogged down with. I think just talking about the first 3 episodes, but I could always lead that one week, maybe not next week, but maybe the week after or something. Like I could maybe set something up. We'll see.
I've heard
or whenever you want to do it. You can wait a while before we do that.
JBRPH Woods says Northern Exposure. I've heard a number of people mention that. There's
a reference to the log lady on the show. The one guy has a weird dream, and then he sees the log lady in his dream.
Was it played by Catherine Coulson?
I don't remember. I didn't watch Northern Exposure. I kept making the joke we'd have to watch the whole of Northern Exposure before we get to season 3 of Twin Peaks.
The episode of Northern Exposure that always stuck in my mind was the one about the actual founding of the town. That was the story of the actual Sicily that the town was named after. Even though that episode borrows very, very heavily from Fried Green Tomatoes, I still thought it was a pretty good episode. The episode where, spoiler alert, Grant Goodeve meets his demise, how that takes place, that's both kind of darkly funny and kind of fucked up at the same time. But there's that, and the episode where I think the series itself should have ended, which was the last episode with Rob Morrow. But those are like the 3 episodes of that stick in my mind. That and the pilot, and a couple of the other ones along the way. The one where Chris meets his brother is a pretty fun one. Wow, that's all starting to come back to me now. Yeah, it had some good. That had some good episodes, man, for any show. I always think of Northern Exposure as very much its own thing, but I don't know how much inspiration Twin Peaks was for it, if any. But it is, again, a show that's about this very quirky town, seen through the eyes of this guy coming in from the outside, who kind of brings his own baggage in with it. So yeah, I can kind of see where they relate, but they go off in very different directions. I always saw Northern Exposure as more of a comedy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can see where it relates, though. Well, I really brought that down. Thanks. Okay. Sorry. Resident Alien, I actually stopped watching very early on. because of something that happened in an early episode, and I'm like, oh, they snuck one of these in on me. Yeah, click.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I get why people dig it, but Resident Alien, I'm not a fan. But yeah, it's like Northern Exposure with an alien in it. Yeah.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Can't live with them, can't live without them.
Yeah, you can.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we're not even sure they exist, so yeah, you can live without them.
Maybe we're not sure they exist. You think there's nothing out there in this whole big, vast cosmos?
I don't think that we have any way of contacting it. When we have a universe that is expanding faster than the speed of light, the distance between stars is increasing all the time. I don't think anything can ever get here.
Mulder would disagree with you.
Yeah,
this would be some Scully argument you need to be having. You're like, the amount of energy would take no life, or you'd be like, well, no, actually, and then you'd be bringing up all his other nonsense. That's how it would usually work.
Yeah, no, you can convince me that there's extra dimensional life, but I think if there's any other life in the universe, we're never going to be able to counter. It's just too damn far away.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I guess maybe we just spend the next several days behind the scenes with deleted scenes, determining what we'll do next week for sure. We don't have to decide right now, but there is a lot. There is still a lot. We have a lot of things to look at.
Like I mean, there have been things that we've been discussing behind the scenes, but it's just a matter of, and in a couple of cases, a matter of, do we want to do it on this show, or do we want to do certain things as like a separate show? There's that. Like we've, for those of you who've been there since the beginning, you've heard us. We have brought up Skinamarink a number of times.
Right.
Do we do that on this show, or do we do that as a separate show?
Right.
Yeah. So there's that to consider. Inland Empire has been brought up. We got to figure out how we're going to do that. I'd very much like to do Blue Velvet, because I think Blue Velvet's the trial balloon for Twin Peaks.
In a way, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So I think we almost kind of have to do that at some point here very soon. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to do Industrial Symphony #1, you kind of in a way need Wild at Heart.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll kind of go into that when we get to Wild at Heart. Kind of what my theory of the connection there is, but
yeah, but so long I've kind of forgotten. But
here's well, I mean it's Wild at Heart is his Wizard of Oz. What I mean?
Yeah,
clearly,
kind of literally.
Yeah. Yeah, only instead of the wizard, you get crazy Willem Dafoe there.
I'm kind of a wizard myself.
Yeah.
He's all right, that William Dafoe.
Are you sure? I'm not sure that he's sure.
I dig the hell out of that guy. I like him. I don't think he takes himself too seriously. Is the thing.
No, I agree with you.
He wouldn't do half the movies that he does if he didn't.
He strikes me as the type who likes to try things. You know, you give him this weird, you know, probably like most of the people that work with David Lynch. You look at it and go, I don't understand it, but I'll give it a try. Why not? Could be fun. So the other thing I was thinking is that I'm about halfway through Blake 7. And as I promised the audience, next week we will be returning for the first episode of season 3. Left you guys on a cliffhanger.
How could you do that?
Because I'm a bastard. Oh, Andy Masterson, the talented one. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Sir. He is a man of action figures. But good to see you, my friend. But what I was thinking is, I mean, hell, that's still months worth of viewership. But after that, you know, if we want to expand this time slot, we absolutely could. You know, I think there's 13 episodes a season, so you know, at the end of season 3, we're going to have another cliffhanger ending. So, you know, definitely could squeeze one in there. I don't know. We'll have to think about how we want to do these. I know things like Inland Empire is a bit longer. That almost has to be broken up into 2. Mulholland Drive is a full feature-length film that should not be broken up. Heck, the DVD doesn't even have chapter breaks in it.
No.
And then there's also Lost Highway.
Highway too.
You've been wanting to do Lost Highway.
That's my big Lynch thing is Lost Highway. That's my Lynch thing. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah. That's the one I want to hear your opinion on, because Lost Highway is the one I'm not sure I get.
Okay. Well, we should plan for a Lost Highway. Yeah.
I have a theory, but I'm not 100% sure it tracks. So I really want to hear what you have to say on that one.
All right. Might be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, both of them are longer than 2 hours. Lost Highway's only 2 hours, 15 minutes, but Inland Empire is 3 hours.
Yeah.
So we got to think about what we're doing and how. Both of them are pretty dark, pretty pretty intense.
Well, I have an idea. Jazz Odyssey. Oh, come on. We just saw the movie last week. Come on, guys.
Jazz Odyssey.
Jazz Odyssey. Sorry. Okay.
Oh yeah, right. You're making a Spinal Tap reference. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I guess what you're saying. Funny man.
It took me a second. I had to digest. You said we just saw it last week. Okay.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm alone, aren't I?
Well, I mean, aren't we all in this to some degree? So, Industrial Symphony #1 is only 50 minutes long.
Yeah,
that might be a good one for next week. I don't know. Think about it.
It just depends on whether or not you're hung up on. We'd have to do Wild at Heart first.
Okay. Well, we could do Wild at Heart. I like Wild at Heart.
I mean, Wild at Heart is 2 hours. We could do it if we started on time and I maybe push Blake 7 out by about a half hour. Anyway, just a thought. We don't have to decide tonight.
It's a thought. Yeah, we don't have to decide tonight. And yeah, we'll just let everybody know, folks. You'll just have to wait. But
we will let y'all know
that we've got plenty that we intend to do. And
but I did want to mention that I did the presentation from last week is up on Rumble. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for you guys. Where is it? Here it is. I guess I got to actually go to it. Share. Copy link. Here we go. So here's the link to the that epilogue that I did of Secret History of Twin Peaks. I expanded it out. I added the conversation between Milford and Briggs. The chapter on Dale Cooper and basically what ends up happening to Garland and the whole situation with basically the whole listening outpost and its whole backstory and where it ends. So that's all in there, and it's up on Rumble, and it'll stay there until if Rumble says anything about it, I'll take it down, but I don't think they will. And if I get enough views over there and enough interest, maybe I'll put up all of the ones that I did for the final dossier as well.
Cool.
So feel free to go check that out. Panel members, if you want to add that to the description from last week, so that anyone happening on last week's live stream could boot that up and check them both out, that'd be good. And there you go. See, we're working for you behind the scenes, folks. We're doing the best we can to try to weed through all of this Lynchian insanity.
Lynchian insanity.
Well, it's better than being Kafka-esque, I guess.
I suppose so.
But that's all I got. My head hurts a little bit.
I'm going to have nightmares from that.
We're going to get in bed and I'm going to go, move over. Glad you are alive. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's go once around the horn. Ladies first. Nutter,
Yep.
what do you have coming up?
Well, let's see. Normally there would be Blake 7 after this, but
Yeah,
this is
not
not a
tonight.
Blake 7 night.
Yeah.
So my next night will be Thursday. We're over on Netter's Network Thursday things. My special guest will be Tom Conkle and possibly Lucinda Bruce. I'm trying to find out if she's actually going to be there or not. Where we get an update on Island in the Stars, and we have some exciting news.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Let's see then. Yeah. Then Friday, I'm co-hosting on Last Call. Saturday, I'm co-hosting on Big L stream for we're watching.
Films with Friends, Incredible Shrinking Man.
Okay, Incredible Shrinking Man. Yeah. And that's it until next week.
Yep.
Oh, right. Sorry. Troy.
Yeah. So Netter on Thursday things, and then Friday, Netter, Boomer, and myself will be talking. This is going to be our last segment on Doctor Who for a while.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
we're not lingering on every episode.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the last two Doctors, Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. There is no Doctor Who after that, so that's what we'll be talking about.
You got a strong opinion about that, huh?
Yes, I do. Then I'll be there for the. I'll sneak in through the back door to watch the Incredible Shrinking Man on Saturday. Sunday, we've already got almost a full docket of articles for Geeky Geezers. Wait a minute, I have to back up. Saturday at 2 Central, 3 Eastern, I will be on Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips Rumble channel, which will exclusively be carrying our watch through of Tron and Tron Legacy. So that's starting at 2 Central, 3 Eastern. We'll be done well in time for Films with Friends, so no big worry there. And starting Monday, I am planning a 1 hour live stream at lunchtime. I'm calling it Last Call with Liquid Lunch with Last Call, and it'll be a topic based thing. Probably the items that don't make it into Geeky Geezers, but if you guys are able to at about lunchtime on Monday through Friday, hopefully you can join me. That's it. Not a lot.
Alrighty.
All right. Boomer.
I'll be on Friday with Troy for Last Call. Then I'm also going to be Sunday. We'll be doing Geeky Geezers, where we're going to be talking about a possible return to Tremors. And I guess Warner Brothers basically saying you can do whatever you want in the theater during Minecraft. Let's just turn the theater experience into. You know what? I'm like, I'll save the rant for Sunday. Okay. Apparently Disney might be doing gargoyles again, which I find kind of shocking, but yeah, okay. And
those Star Trek The Next Generation actors need work.
Yeah, but they're not going to be in it. They're not going to get Jonathan Frakes to play David Xanatos. He's too old now.
He's going to be CG anyway. What's the difference?
For the love of Mike.
They say live action, but live action doesn't mean live action these days.
Anyway, okay. And that's Geeky Geezers.
All right. Well, that brings things on over to myself. I do have reviews up right now for Sinners and Havoc, so please check those out. Let's see. I have the next episode of Unscripted, which will be Sunday night at 8 p.m. As well as, of course, Coming Attractions, which will be right after Thursday Things. Let's see. I do have an appearance on Films with Friends with Big Al Presents on Friday, the May the 9th. And we are going to be watching Marooned. So, and of course, Marooned, yep. So, of course, stay tuned to the my community page for any changes in the in the schedule. And, hit the like, share out the stream, hit the, keep the bell icon on for notifications and all that good stuff. All right. Any last words before we wrap it up?
No.
Thirsty.
Well, that's a you problem. You're over there by the fridge, so.
Yep, and I just took out another can of
sparkling water. There you go.
water.
Sparkling water is good.
I'm good. I have to go process. In fact, I have to go do my review for tonight's movie over at Criticless. So make sure y'all do that.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
you know what my review's gonna be? Don't watch this. It's a nightmare.
Well, kind of.
Hey.
Kinda.
Did I just drop out?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I don't hear anybody anymore. Oh, wait, now I do. That was weird.
It's an unsung classic. Maybe. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Wade, that's exactly right. Waiting on my disability benefits. Hello from Houston, Texas. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
So good to see you. We are kind of just wrapping up here. So sorry if you missed the show. You might want to rewind. We watched David Lynch's Eraserhead, and we did our very best to analyze it as we were watching it. So, let us know what you think. But there you go.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really done.
Welcome. All right. Netter, would you like to take us out with your closing?
We can talk amongst ourselves. That's all well, good, and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping comments, questions, trivia, being goofy. And hopefully this movie tonight doesn't give you nightmares.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like we're separated by miles. It feels like we're hanging out in our family room. We're having a very lively discussion about this very disturbing movie. And hopefully having a great time. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have nightmares. But it wouldn't be the same without y'all being here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for encouraging all of us with your presence, because we love seeing you here. We love seeing you in the chats and the many, many ways that you support us is, I can't even find the right words for it. You guys are Osmo. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of our family. And until next time, good night and God bless.
All right. And as I always say at the end of every show, thank you all once again for joining us. We had more than 30 people watching throughout the show, so thank you for taking the time out. Hit the like, share out the stream, and if you are new to my channel or the channels of my fellow panelists, please subscribe. From HQ, the corner of Sparkwood in 21, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night, take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy. Take care of the children, because children are our future. Philadelphia, maybe stay out of certain areas, because this is how we win.